We got our blow-off valve, and we got our blow-off valve flange or flange pipe. I don't think that does anything on the top, so it's just this vacuum port that needs to go on the intake. Blow-off valve mounted, and we got some other connections that we got to make once our intercooler and intercooler piping gets here. This is a little smaller than I thought it would be. We're gonna try it anyway. Yeah, this will really get, like, you know, right up in there. So I'm gonna show you guys what's going on down here. So we got the intercooler sitting here, kind of mounted, not really. We got a coupler here, 45-degree piping, and then that is going to have a 90-degree coupler go straight up into that hole with a straight piece, and then we're going to figure out routing up there. We're going to see what goes. It's the same situation over here. 90-degree coupler goes straight up into the hole up there and mount straight to the turbocharger with a straight piece of aluminum piping. Then you look at the front of this. So we've already got enough holes for some decent airflow, but I want to cut another hole right on the bottom. Look at that. That is good looking stuff. So in order to get this for the rest of the piping over there, we're going to need a 3-inch 45 or 90-degree elbow. And then to get this to connect to this pipe here, we're going to need a 3 to 2.5-inch coupler. So we'll have that on order. This means just a little bit more waiting for parts. Now this is going to have to be shortened up quite a bit. So let's have a go at that. I'm gonna make another cut, which is the bumper. That little slit that I was talking about. But it was. Airflow, or at least a little bit more of it. So that's mounted. Intercooler's mounted. This was a very messy process. I recommend you take precaution if that's something you're going to do, or if you're following along with this and doing a turbo kit on an LS400 as well. If you want to go ahead and cut that for more airflow, I don't know how much more effective it is. That's just something that I'm doing because my head makes it make sense for me. So got a couple of things on order. The connection from here to here, which is a 3-inch 90-degree, I think we ordered. So we got a 3-inch 90-degree elbow coming in for that. That's going to be more secure. And then for here to here, we have a silicone 3-inch to 2.5-inch coupler coming in for that. So there's only a couple of things left to do on this build. Once our intercooler is fully mounted up, we will only have to connect our feed and return lines to the turbo, which we can't do until the vacuum line on the cold side is drilled out for our wastegate. Now our wastegate vacuum line length depends on where we route the exhaust to, and that can't be figured out until we do the exhaust. So we have the exhaust to build, we have the downpipe to build, and we have these lines to mount up. Once all of those things are done and we have our vacuum line and our wastegate installed and all of the piping is installed, then we should be good to run this. But before we do, we might have a couple of maintenance items that we have to take care of, like our valve cover seals, any other oil seals that I can think of that are quick and easy to get to up top, because it does seem that we have some sort of oil leak going on in this general area. Now, I do know that it is for sure this valve cover that is leaking. I do not know if that one is, but if we're going to be doing it, might as well do both. This intake, all of this is going to have to come apart anyway, because we're going to need new injectors as well. And once we have our new injectors and everything is running and everything is complete, that'll be the end of the build. We'll be satisfied. We still have a bunch of chassis modifications to do to make sure that, you know, this thing is actually safe to drive down the road. Aside from that, that'll be the end of this build, and then it's time to start working on this again, which, you know, just got to pull out that dent, replace the trunk, get our spoiler back on, replace the rear bumper, and then we can get back to all the fun modifications that we're going to do with that, like headers and whatnot. Nonetheless, we're done for the day.